Hey everybody, today is Tuesday, obviously, June 29th, and you are here watching Tech Talk Tuesday. This is a show where usually myself and my co-host Matt Ray break down the week's latest tech news that he and I find interesting throughout the week, and we digest that and then give it to you guys in little bite-sized chunks. So you guys don't necessarily have to keep track. We'll keep track for you. Matt is out today. He is enjoying himself at the beach. So be jealous. I know I am. And I'm very disappointed he didn't join me. So you all are stuck with me today, solo again. But with that, let's go ahead and jump right in. I did give you guys spoilers in the description that it is Microsoft heavy. So where are we going to start? Well, of course, with Microsoft. So Microsoft is the latest company coming to cloud gaming services. So this is very similar to like your Luna services or Google Stadia. It's just called the xCloud. So yeah, this is really cool. They're going to be using so actually you get access to this via your Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is really cool. We've talked about that on the show before. It's a really good deal. So definitely take a look into that. But this has been in beta only for a while, but now it's coming to everyone. So that's really, really cool. If you don't know how this works, basically you call into the service and they run the games for you behind the scenes. They're going to, in this case, Microsoft and xCloud will be using their Series X consoles, which are their newest consoles that they just came out with and are really hard to get. So yeah, you should be able to get your streaming at 1080 and 60 frames per second, which is really dang good. Obviously, that will require you to have a pretty good internet access or internet connection, rather. But it's really cool. So this is coming to iOS, your iPad, your PC, anything that's not an Xbox. It's basically going to be coming to. So like I'm streaming right now from my MacBook Pro, and I could actually play Xbox Series X on this if I got a Ultimate Pass. So that is really, really neat. So yeah, I mean that's the first thing that we have today. I think it's really interesting that Microsoft basically said, okay, Google, okay, Amazon, check this out. We know what we're doing. We have the hardware to do this. I do wonder if this is leading to some of the shortages in the scarcity of the Series X's. But I chalk that up mostly to the PC parts because, again, like if you haven't been following any of that recently, PC parts, particularly GPUs, are really hard to find right now. And if you are finding them, they're at extreme markups. So that's what I chalk it up to. But when I did see this, and I did see that they were using Series X's, and I know how hard they have been to come by, it did cross my mind that, hey, you guys have been holding some back. Why don't you go ahead and sell me one of those? So, yeah, I really like this. I'm definitely going to check this out and see how it goes for me in my office here. I do get a pretty good internet connection, so I'm expecting this to be really nice. And I mean, with 100 games, I should have plenty of things to play. So. Yeah, I know I will be checking this out over the next couple weeks for sure. And keeping with that Microsoft theme, we are going to talk about something kind of related to Epic as well, in that basically Microsoft is coming out and saying that, hey, developers, if you want to make a Windows app for Windows 11, don't worry, you're going to keep all of that revenue, whether you use a third party, whether you use your own third party payment processor or you use ours. So that's really neat. There's one caveat to that in that, yeah, it doesn't actually count for games. Yeah, so like the whole decision with like Epic and Apple And that, I mean, this really muddies the water as well, because you know what? We're saying, yeah, well, technically we still want to cash in on that revenue, guys. So sorry, not sorry. Oh, but all of you other guys that aren't doing games, yeah, we really want that. That way people actually use Windows 11 whenever it comes out. So I find this very odd. The fact that Microsoft has been lowering this for their developers kind of since Epic started taking it to Apple in court. And I really thought that if they were going to make an announcement like this, it would have been for everyone or for all apps, including games. So I do find this a little weird. I don't really know how Microsoft can justify this other than they're a private company, right? So they can kind of do whatever they want, but it just feels really weird to me that they would go all the way to this, but then stop at gaming. Particularly when they already have a pretty large market share in the gaming sphere with Xbox and their Ultimate Pass, like we just talked about, and I mean, you know, it just seems a little weird to me. And obviously, I know, and if you guys have been following the show, you know that Microsoft definitely sells the Xbox hardware, so like that console that you buy, at a loss, and so they try to make their profits up on that 30% cut that they take from game sales and subscriptions. But you know, it still feels a little weird to me that you're basically saying, yeah, cool, well, all of these other apps, they're great games. Since we have the Xbox, we're going to charge you for this, even though, like, you know, whatever. It just feels weird. It just kind of feels like they're leaving out somebody in this equation. And that happens to be game devs, which I'm not a super big fan of, because I like playing video games and I want people to make great games. And so I don't want them, and I want them to be rewarded for that. So this just feels a little weird to me. I like that they're doing it, particularly because, like, I'm not a game dev, but I may do an Apple Windows app. But and I would love to keep all of that revenue, and I will starting August 1 this year. But yeah, I don't know. Just feels a little crummy to me. But something that does not feel crummy to me, and something that I am super excited about, and everyone should be excited about, and there should be parades and parties and all sorts of celebrations, and that is that Windows 11 will be finally killing Internet Explorer. If you don't know why I'm saying that in the tone that I am, Internet Explorer is notoriously the bane of web developers, web app, and software engineers' existence. It is notoriously hard to work with. They do things in completely different ways sometimes than other browsers. And yeah, I mean, it's just a nightmare. But Microsoft is coming out and saying here that, yeah, it's going to be laid to rest. You can see right here, it's going to be laid to rest in 2022. And that makes me so happy. I think this article actually points out that you could have had 3 different Microsoft browsers at one point on your machine. That is Internet Explorer, Edge before it went to Chromium, and then the Chromium Edge. So, I mean, that's just confusing as heck. And I mean, it really just outlines, like this article states as well, how hard Microsoft how much of a hard time Microsoft has had with their web browsers, trying to put a web browser out there and just making it work and trying to make it work, but they just never have done that. So you may be asking yourself, well, what's going to be the default browser when I buy Microsoft or when I buy Windows 11? That will be the Edge version. It'll be the Edge Chromium version. So that is cool. I'm glad that they are finally getting rid of this. Now, that doesn't mean that Internet Explorer is going to go away, say at work, or for us web developers right away, as a lot of legacy things will still need to work on. Still need to work on Internet Explorer, and companies will still use them for a long time, as Matt and I know. But there is light at the end of the tunnel for us developers. And again, guys, if you aren't using something other than Internet Explorer or Edge, please do. There are plenty of options. For example, I use Brave. It protects you from all of those little creepy, crawly, tracky things that like Facebook and Twitter and all of your social media things like to do to track you. And Chrome's a great option. Firefox is a great option. And there's tons of others out there. So please, please, please do not use Internet Explorer. Well, one, and you won't be able to in the near future. So, but yeah, with that, that's all I have for you today. A little bit of a shorter show. And I know it was all Microsoft related, but they just had a huge announcement with Windows 11. So I had to give it to you guys straight, what I was thinking. And so I did. But yeah, if you want to read up on anything that I talked about today, you can find the articles in the description below. And while you're there, go ahead and give us a follow, a like, subscribe. We're on whatever platform you're on. It really helps us out with YouTube and other algorithms. That way we can reach a larger audience and continue to spread the tech knowledge that that you guys love and we love as well. So if you want to have your question answered live on air, or just in general, you can hit me up on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @NealTardy. It's down there in the corner. I would love to hear from you guys. I will answer any question that comes there, tech related, and just let me know if you want it answered on the show or not. We haven't done one of those in a while, but again, we haven't been getting anything. But with that, thank you guys for joining us, and I will see you next Tuesday.